I'll show you some of the process when I make a piece here. And then I just wanted to also mention that after the piece is made, they have to go back into these squared kilns here, where they rest at their annealing temperature. My annealing temperature is 900 degrees, roughly, and they rest there for a minimum of an hour, and then they come down to room temperature over about a 12-hour period. So there's a lot of time and energy costs involved in this. And what's kind of interesting is I don't really get to see the finished object until the next day. So it's kind of.
How long have you been doing this kind of work, Casey?
I've been blowing glass since 1994. I graduated from Alfred University in upstate New York, which has a real good glass and ceramics program. And then I worked for a few studios in the Columbus area over the years. And then I moved up here in, I think it was 2000, and started this business. So I've been real serious. I've been blowing glass for 6 years now.
Do you have other artists that come in here and help and use your furnaces and kilns?
I do rent my studio out to qualified glass blowers. If they know how to work the studio and run the studio, they're always welcome to rent the studio time. And I rent for the same price that Steiner Glass School up in Kent, Ohio rents for. He's a very close friend of mine, and so we just pay my rental price to his rental price. And I get about 13 separate renters a year. Some people rent as long as a week, some people just rent for the hour. So these pieces are all collaborative works with up to 5 or 8 artists, up to 8, between 5 and 8 artists.
This is really cool.
It's nice that I tied it in like that. So it's kind of an interesting process. Basically, we make a cylinder, and we cut the cylinder in half, and then we slump it out in the kiln so it's a flat piece of glass. And then so it's become a flat piece of glass, just one at a time. And then they paint onto it, and they can do up to 3. Usually we do a opaque background and then 2 transparent layers, up to 3, and then we melt them together. And then we set them upside down and warm them up in the kiln enough that they're tacky and that they move. And then we roll them up onto the side of the piece. And then what's different about this piece, which is what we call an enameling onto the side of the vessel, which is painted and fired, painted and fired, and painted and fired, is that's on the surface like a sticker almost, or like a good reference would be like a Corona bottle. You know how Corona bottles have, or what's the one up by you guys in Latrobe? Rolling Rock. Rolling Rock's enamel, whereas that's enamel. These are a little different because they're actually inside the glass. So just kind of an interesting to roll that up. And it's just something that's been very good for some of the painters in the community to have a chance to come down here and work with glass without any really glass experience. They just have to apply their own aesthetics. So it's been kind of cool.
Hello, Joseph. How are you?
Good.
I'm here with Joseph Close, and we're at KC Glass Studios still. And he works in the cold shop as well as you blow some pieces yourself.
That's correct.
He's going to talk to us a little bit about cold. What's this process called?
Pretty much cold working.
Cold working.
Yeah.
And also later on we're going to show some of his paintings. He is a fine artist, and why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do at KC's Glass?
Basically, I assist Casey in actually making a lot of these pieces, and I also do some of the glass blowing. I've been doing it for about 3 years now, so I'm not able to make the larger pieces, but I do assisting, and I also do some enameling on glass. We're getting into this, a new process for me and Casey, so we'll work together on making the vessel, and then I'll come in later with powdered glass pigment, layer it on, and then we fire it several firings at 1200, 1250, and that's basically it. And this particular piece has to go to the cold shop to grind the base and the bottom of this vase, so that later on we'll then use a high industrial glue to glue these together. This is kind of more of a whimsical piece. We generally stay with these more traditional shapes, but this one, the subject matter is a little more.
I noticed that on the front of that, it's really neat. What inspired you for that?
Um,
Where do you get your inspiration for a piece like that?
This one came by looking at the glass vessel itself. I just got the idea of, I was doing a lot of these images with eyes and whatnot, but the sort of whimsical nature of this abstract nature kind of fit the piece because the piece is more abstract than a lot of the other pieces here. And say for this one is more traditional, clean, symmetrical shape, as this has a little bit of movement to it with these bits that we added on, and the base has some movement as well.
It is beautiful. It is very pretty.